We're here with another A-League show, and we've got a big bit of news today. I just kind of wanted this to be a preview for the weekend upcoming, but we got some huge expansion news today, and otherwise I'll be talking about the double derby weekend that we're going to be having in the A-League. Yeah, we'll start with expansion. APL has sold a full A-League license to Bill Foley. He's the owner of Bournemouth. He's an old American billionaire businessman. And we will just break down that statement for everything that it's worth. Selling a license, we know it supposedly costs around $25 million for a license fee. They said something about it last year. And not that I know what goes on in the A-League or the APL, but generally in sport, the license fee is then distributed around the league to the clubs, to the league. I'm sure the FA will take a bit as well. Yeah, they get a little bit of a financial injection and the new team comes into the league. The license is for the Auckland expansion bid. Right? So, you know how they came out earlier in the year and said there's Auckland and Canberra expansion, but they didn't actually have the owners or like what clubs it was going to be yet? That's what they've sold to this guy. Auckland expansion. I don't think he's able to then be like, nah, fuck it, I want an Uluru club. Yeah, it's going to be in Auckland. And from what we know about the Auckland expansion bid, like, I don't know if he can rip up the previous plans. I imagine it probably wouldn't be the case. Like, I imagine the A-League, like, the reason they announced it is because they'd worked out stuff with, like, local governments and that to sort certain things out. So I imagine a lot of the information that came out about the Auckland expansion earlier, despite, you know, not having an owner till now, I imagine it'd still be relevant. And that brings me to they'll probably play out of Mount Smart Stadium, and they reckon that's going to be a positive because the last A-League team to play in Auckland didn't. While I was also looking at this, I found that there was earlier talk of a purpose-built stadium. So I don't know if we're going to see that. I have been spurned once before by an expansion club promising a purpose-built stadium, but this wasn't a promise. This was something in an article that was published ages ago that I saw. So, yeah, that's the Auckland expansion bid. I don't think we know much more about it, although I don't want them to be called the Knights or the Black Knights. I just want it to be an FC. I think if they could just do Auckland FC or Auckland United or if I could do CF Auckland or something, just don't give it a cheesy American name, please. But yeah, that's all we know about it as far as I know, at least. And yeah, it's been sold to Bill Foley. Who is Bill Foley? As I said earlier, American bajillionaire, but he does have an impressive resume when it comes to sports ownership. He owns Bournemouth in the Premier League. They're a well-established side in the competition. They've probably been in the Prem for the majority of the last 8 years. I think they did have a dip down in the Championship recently. Maybe they didn't. Yeah, Bournemouth for a small club are incredibly well run, it seems. And he also has a stake in FC Laurent in France. And they've got like a partnership with Bournemouth, and apparently they're like, I don't even know how the thing works. I could have done better research here, but it seems like they're owned by the Black Knight Football Group, which sounds shit, right? Like, I mean, I'm not really a fan of like the, you know, consortiums that own multiple clubs and everything like that. And the whole Black Knight thing, what the fuck? Just have a dumb name like whatever the one Melbourne Victories one is. It's probably a good thing, to be honest. Like, it could, you know, bring just extra footballing knowledge to Australia. Like, if they've got those links with Bournemouth and FC Laurent, then who knows what that's going to do, but it could provide opportunity. It's links with clubs in Europe. So that's a positive thing for an expansion bid. And something that I think is just a little bit of a tidbit as well is that Bill Foley also owns the Vegas Golden Knights, which are a National Hockey League side in America. They were an expansion side who I believe made the equivalent of the semi-final, was it? Did they make the Stanley Cup Finals? Either way, they were incredibly successful and they won the league within like 6 years or something like that. So that probably means nothing. Like, I think the footballing links kind of mean something, but it probably means nothing. I have seen that William has been in the media recently like fucking shit talking American like style, just like, I've got a Stanley Cup ring, because that's what fucking owners get the ring as well in American sports, because they're fucking cucks. They're a country of fucking cucks. Bill Foley owning some cunts improves Auckland. Auckland succeeding improves New Zealand. New Zealand succeeding improves Australia, and Australia succeeding improves the world. That's the order of how things go. But yeah, I just think, they'll solidify New Zealand's place in the A-League and their connection to Australian football, which will only strengthen Australian football. And then, yeah, from there, we'll do whatever with it. But stronger Australian football is good. But if I could leave you with one thought, it's fuck Auckland anyway. Like, the expansion bid looks good. I'm kind of excited to do an away day there. But if the away day for Sydney FC is there against Wellington this year, I'm going to avoid making a terrorist joke on the internet. So yeah, let's just talk about next week instead. That's the Auckland expansion bid. Starting this weekend on Friday night, we've got Macarthur versus Melbourne Victory. The Tards have looked good this season, like just unusually good. They quietly went about the off-season, got binned out the cup early, and then have just looked class to start the A-League season. But they failed to pick up a result against Wellington, and maybe they could do the same here. However, I'm doubtful of that. And, respect to Macarthur, they're fucking flying at the minute, right? Like, I'm pretty sure they're undefeated in the league. They've only got one defeat in Asia. Yeah, they lost to Plumbers in the cup, but that doesn't even matter now anyway. So, yeah, Macarthur have been doing well, but for me, Melbourne Victory in every single facet are just better than Macarthur, and we'll probably be beating them on Friday. Then we've got a Saturday triple header, and I hate that because there's a Sydney derby, so I'm gonna miss everything. Like, usually if it's like, a chill game like Western United at home or something like that, I don't really give a fuck. Like, I can, stay home and watch the early Saturday match, but it's a derby. I want to be out. I want to be pouring beer in my head. So I'll probably miss both these games, but I hope to catch at least an extended highlights reel of them. Because first of all, we've got Wellington versus Melbourne City. Melbourne City have struggled so far this season, and I think they're going to struggle again. They've obviously got to travel to Wellington, which is going to be difficult. They've also got star striker and probably top goal scorer ever, definitely top goal scorer ever, Jamie McLaren, traveling with the Socceroos at the minute, so that's not going to be good for his legs, because he got minutes on Thursday. He might get minutes against Palestine. I'm recording before the match, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like Melbourne City are going to be going through a struggle, and Wellington, they haven't been perfect so far this season, but they are seeming to be elite shithouses. They cheekily beat Perth. They nabbed a 0-0 draw against Western Sydney. They had a tough game against Brisbane, but ended up winning it by 3 goals and dancing around like they won the fucking league. And then they got a 1-1 draw against Melbourne Victory without registering a shot. And I believe they fully deserved all of those results. And I think they're going to get a result against Melbourne City again. I'm going to go for a 3-2 Wellington Phoenix win. Revenge for not getting to knock Melbourne City out of the cup this year. Then we've got an F3 derby. Central Coast have been the worst fucking side ever this year. They've gone from easily being top 2 sides in the A-League at the end of last season to being the undisputed shittest side in the A-League. Sydney performance against Adelaide saves us. We'd be down there with them. Sydney FC are out of that water just. I'm not trying to shit on Central Coast fans. I enjoy your suffering as an entertainment product, but as a footballing fan, I sympathize with you. But their shit is the point. And you know how they say form goes out the windows for derbies? Well, that goes out the window for this derby, because I think Newcastle will do them in easy. I think Newcastle have looked not shit as Mariners this season. It's as simple as that. They don't look as crap. They've got Stamatolopoulos scoring goals for fun, and I think if they don't score 5 against Central Coast on the weekend, it's a failure. But yeah, I feel like there's a real disparity, and they could actually put themselves quite high up the table with a win against the Mariners, especially a big win. And, table position doesn't really mean anything at the moment. So much more of the season to go. But they've got themselves off to a nice little start for the first 4 games, and they could easily improve it here. So it's a huge game for the Jets and a huge game for the Mariners too, but I think their game will be over in like 2 fucking minutes. Then we've got a Sydney derby. Speaking of huge, this is massive. It's the first game of the Talley era. Western Sydney are undefeated. Sydney have somehow looked the best we have done in years and the worst we have done in years in like the span of 10 games this season. And yeah, I've got absolutely no fucking idea what's going to happen. Like, this is going to be mad. I feel like Western Sydney have just dumb confidence that only those fucking retards could have, where like they're just gonna turn up in numbers and probably be fucking loud, and like their team will probably just play well and be defensively solid and create a few chances. And I mean, it's gonna be up to us to win the game, and I think that really comes down to our front four. Like, it's up to the team to press, and I hope, Gerwood, Reich, and Lacerda, I think it'll be at centre back. I hope they step up and can do bits for us, but I feel like they've been a bit shaky this season. Whether we have Grant or DeJesus in at right back, it's not Keely Adamson, so we're going to be a little bit weak there, and that could potentially be exploited. And Joel King, I think he's been okay, but when the rest of the defense isn't performing, he's not like that great, and he gets kind of done in as well. So I feel like our defense could be our issue, but our front line could be our savior, right? We've got the front four back. We've got, hopefully, Fabio Gomez and Jaden Kucharski up top. Those two getting close to each other like they did against Adelaide is going to be fucking dangerous. They look like a great big man, little man duo. And I think that could cause threat to Western Sydney. Joe Lolly, if he can get isolated with any of the Western Sydney defenders, he will fashion himself a chance and he will fucking take it. Or he might not take it, but I think he will fashion himself some chances if we can stretch the Western Sydney defense. And Robert Mack has been underwhelming since the Cup, but he's a phenomenal player. I think he did bits for fucking Slovakia or Slovenia, but he did well for his country over the international break. I'm pretty sure they qualified for Euros 2024. He can step up in this game easily. Yeah, we've got the possibility to win. We've got the possibility to lose. What we can do is a little bit more volatile than what Western Sydney can do. I think I can say what I expect from West Sydney. They will show up. I think they will be defensively solid. I think they will create a few chances. I think possession will go in their favour. Sydney, it's what we do. Do we defend the chances they create well and, limit their opportunities to score? And then do we take our chances down the other end? Or do our front four falter again and our back line, do they just get kind of gimped around? It's hard to say, but you know me. I will always be positive going into a derby. So I'm going to go for a 3-1 Sydney FC win here, and someone to do muscles on the RBB. Also, hopefully Max Burgess is back. I don't know if he is, but Burgess off the bench potentially, Paddy Wood off the bench potentially. I feel like we've got some good energy there, and they could make an impact. But yeah, I'll go 3-1 Sydney win. Then we've got Brisbane versus Perth. For me, this should be an easy Brisbane W, but sorry. Fucking nerd. Yeah, Brisbane, they look like a good side. They're definitely going to outplay Perth on Sunday, but I think they have struggled to pick up results so far, and they could struggle again. So hopefully they don't do that. Perth have got to travel across to Brisbane, so it's going to be a harder game for them to play than it will be for Brisbane probably. And yeah, they should be getting the win. I'll tip them to get the win, but I do think Perth could get an upset. And then Western Sydney versus Adelaide is the final game of the weekend. And there's free tickets to see Iran Kunda, apparently. I think I saw that on Twitter. And yeah, I think this game's going to be crazy because Adelaide came out, start of this season, looked phenomenal, then got dicked by Sydney. Their heads are probably low. Western United, on the other hand, came out, started the season with a win against the triple premiers, Melbourne City, but then have been dicked around since. So I feel like both of these teams are low, but one of them has Iran Kunda to pick them back up. And who wouldn't want that? So I'm going to go for Adelaide getting the win. But that's it. I've got nothing left to say. Guys, A-League show, predictions, news, under fucking 20 minutes. Fucking awesome. Anyway, thank you for watching. I haven't got a chance to read the comments on my expansion video yet, but shit, that would have been good. I would have liked to have talked about them. Either way, yeah, just thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting. And I'll probably see you next week for some more A-League videos. So, yeah, see ya. Bye-bye.